needed as public bodies to get this part of it done. We've been in communication with the company, but none of us as elected officials are in a position to speak specifically to the company's intentions other than what's been publicly published. We believe that this is important for us to move this process forward now that that's done. Obviously, from a local, state, federal standpoint, I think it's fair to say that we'll all be lobbying the company very strongly. But ultimately, this is a corporate decision that I don't think at this point, I certainly am not in a position to speak on behalf of the company.
And Mayor Melfi, is it the same thing? Are you going to be trying to lobby the company? What can we do?
Certainly. Anything we need to do to aid the process, we will do.
But what I'd like to encourage is just what Mayor Melfi just said. Whatever they need, we will do. Because as I mentioned to you, Roger Lindgren has been up here dealing with this and dealing with these gentlemen daily. So trust me, the lines of communications and the desires and the interests are being met. We can tell you that we know daily that this is a discussion on Roger's mind, and I know that we're getting closer and closer to the major board meeting, and this was a huge critical step that we had to get through. And these gentlemen and ladies that helped got us through that. So now it's wait and see.
Do we know if we're on the top of the list or if the list has been whittled down?
We're in a very, very good position, but we are still competing. The decision hasn't been made, obviously. You look at these economic development projects as pieces of a puzzle. You've got to get the pieces in place before the puzzle is done. And this was absolutely something that had to happen for V&M to be in a position to hopefully move forward here. But we still are competing. No final decision has been made. And we are communicating regularly with the company, daily with the company. What can we do next? What are the next steps we can take? But ultimately, the final decision obviously rests in their hands.
So some fruit baskets are gone.
So you're saying if this is the end of the V&M checklist that you had, that there's nothing pending locally or in Columbus, that if they say, in other words, if something new comes up, but as far as the checklist, your checklist is done?
Yes. Checklist for us is done, and it meets the requirements of the company.
If either of the mayors, or both for that matter, could come back to the podium, because it's easier for us to pick up everything. There is the issue of annexation here. Does what happened today resolve that? Do you need to still go through both boards of county commissioners? How does that work now? Because I'm guessing that is a next step in this process, right?
The commissioners do have to approve the annexation. I can't speak for that board, but I do know that it has to take place, and I don't imagine that would be a problem.
Do you folks make the application to the commissioners? Does the company do that?
No, we have the paperwork ready to go to the county as we speak.
So that could be done conceivably this weekend, or
the next
within a matter of days.
Both boards of county commissioners have publicly expressed, and again, not speaking on their behalf, but based on what's been published, they have expressed their support for this project. It was critical that the two cities worked out an agreement. Now that that's been accomplished, I think it's fair to say, based on public reports, the county commissioners will support this and get it done in a way that is timely and beneficial to the project.
The boundary, before we take the boundary modification of the commissioners, the key thing was getting the agreement done between the two communities. Now they can act upon this agreement.
Whoever wants to talk about this, because Tom, you brought this up a little bit, but the mayors have kind of brought this up a little before. There's been a lot of talk in the last couple of years about regional cooperation. Is this something, perhaps this is the first time we've seen this, but is this something that either of your predecessors would have been able to work out, given the thoughts that everybody had back then that, you know, without naming names, but your predecessor Jay or your predecessor Jim, that you would have seen people even just coming together to speak about something like this?
Well, I can't speak for, the predecessors, other than to say that each administration is able to build on the successes of the administration that preceded them. So things that were done under the Girard administration certainly planted seeds for us to be able to move toward this day. Things that were done under the McKelvey administration certainly rested on the Girard administration and moved us a little bit forward, and now under this current administration. So I will say, and I'll give credit to both Mayor Ungaro and Mayor McKelvey for things that they did that laid the groundwork for us to be here today. Again, different mayors have different styles, different personalities. But certainly you can always look back on things that were accomplished in previous administrations and use those as building stones and foundations to getting us where we're here today, and whoever succeeds me as the mayor of the city of Youngstown, hopefully, will find things that they can build on, and maybe they take a little different approach or have a different personality than I do, but that's ideally what you'd like to see in a community, because these things oftentimes take a decade or so to ultimately bear the fruits that our future generations will enjoy.
Well, I think a project of this magnitude would have brought both communities together with the last administrations. So I really think it's the project that stirred the pot, and I think the previous administrations would have understood the importance and also probably done what we've done here today.
I'd like to comment on it. I'm not an elected official, so I'd like to speak and tell you my experience. Walt Good mentioned the fact that when got a hold of the Mayor Williams' office and talked about this project, whatever we have to do, we're going to get this done. I called Mayor Melfi and talked to him about it, and explained to him that this is spreading over 2 counties and 2 cities. And instantly, he said, whatever we got to do, we got to get this done. And that was over a year ago. And it was in a 15-minute phone call conversation. So to your point, are we moving towards economic development? Just think of a year ago or 2 years ago when Mayor Williams started talking about JEDs and the challenges that has. Well, this is a project that brings 2 cities, 2 counties together for one common cause, and the entire region gets the benefit out of this. Not just Youngstown or Girard. Those 400 jobs are going to be spread out through the whole valley, and the suppliers and everything else that's behind this. It's a significant day. Yes, we're signing one step of it, but it's a significant day for regionalization in our community.
We're aware of what the 2 municipalities are getting out of this, and Girard School District stands to make some money out of this. What about the Youngstown City School District? Anything accruing to them?
Youngstown City School District will receive the revenues from the improvements that happen for the portions of the project that yet still is in Mahoning County. And the reason Girard City School District was brought up, I think, so often is because even though this will put the land in the city of Youngstown, it will still be in Trumbull County. So, like Northside Hospital, which is in the city of Youngstown but in Trumbull County, the Girard City School District will benefit significantly from the new improvement. That's not to say at all that Youngstown City School District won't benefit, because they absolutely will. But they have been receiving benefit already from the improvements that are in Mahoning County, and any new improvements to the site that are done in Mahoning County will accrue to the Youngstown City School District.
Are there plans for any of that improvement in the Mahoning County side?
There are phases of this project that, if ultimately put forward, would provide for new construction and new additional revenue to the Youngstown City School District.
Thank you.
Walt had mentioned we're not the only player. Do we know, are we on a short list now, or how many other possibilities are out there for V&M?
I don't want to comment on how many specific locations there are, but we are on a short list. A short list of a low number of communities in North America that are seriously under consideration for the project.
I call it a short list.
Can any of you talk a little bit about, we know the revenues that the cities and their school districts and so forth can get, and that V&M will grow and create jobs. Are there ancillary spin-off jobs that something like this will create that then, again, as Tom said, the community as a whole begins to then take up?
Speaking on behalf of Girard, of course, we have a lot of frontage on South 422, from Interstate 80 to the Youngstown border.
Come up to them.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Speaking on behalf of Girard, from Interstate 80 to the Youngstown border, we have a lot of frontage on 422 that is underdeveloped, and we would certainly like to see, as part of this project, the complementary businesses occur. That would improve those properties, obviously improve the aesthetics of that corridor, and also bring additional jobs. So that's a hope of a project of this magnitude.